Hey everyone, it's Bloom here, and welcome to my Let's Play of Kuon. This is one of the rarer games for the PlayStation 2. It was released in 2004, and it is, as you probably guessed by now, a survival horror game. The setting is in the Heian period of Japan, which is the late 700s to, I think, 1185. And it's based off of an ancient Japanese horror story type called a kaidan. So it's got an excellent premise. A lot of things about this game are really great, but it does unfortunately fall flat in a lot of places. But there's a lot that's really good about this game. As you could probably guess from that opening sequence, it has a very good grasp on horror, and the idea is really great. But the story is unfortunately not very well told. It's very convoluted, and the combat is it's worse than Rule of Rose. But it would definitely be something I would recommend to people who are into obscure survival horror games, but it would be on the lower end of the list. I do really like this game a lot, because I can tolerate the poor controls, and I just love this kind of thing in general. So when you begin, it'll give you a choice between the yin phase and the yang phase. Most people do the yin phase first, because it defaults to this, but I like to do the yang phase first. The story is gonna be very convoluted either way, but I like doing, this one first, but it doesn't matter. It just feels like this one was meant to be done first. Insomnia, daydream, or nightmare. As you can guess, daydream is easy, insomnia is medium, and nightmare is hard. The game is... it's not very hard, but that's, because we get so many healing items. I'm still gonna go with medium.
So this is the Lord's manor.
It's odd for all of us to be summoned at the same time.
It's been a month since Lord Fujiwara disappeared. We know a few of his servants entered, but have failed to leave.
True, but that is nothing for us to be concerned about.
Really?
They're only demons. Our master's skills will disperse them promptly.
Master.
Sakuya, why have you come here?
I understand that this investigation concerns Lord Fujiwara. His manor is infested with demons, which astrologers can't exorcise. How can we...
Enough. I have passed my knowledge and skills on to you. You're not a student of Abe no Sime, the incompetent. Fear not. Now go, child.
Sakuya! Hey! Sakuya! The elder disciples are gone! Come on! Let's go in!
Alright. The investigation has just begun. I think if you go back here later, it says the door is shut. So we can't go back out.
The elder disciples are gone!
You just said that.
The elder disciples are gone!
You just said that again. So you can run by pressing circle, but I wouldn't recommend it because when you run, it depletes your stamina, and this wouldn't be a problem, except we have to do combat. I think if your stamina runs too low, then you experience vertigo, and if you run into a tempest while you are while you're running, then you'll experience vertigo. And what am I talking about? What are those things? Well, I'm about to show you. First, let's open the menu, because it tells you all the stuff when you do equipment, card, and weapon selection. When triangle or square is equipped with a card, you can use it at any time by pressing the button. When a button not assigned to a card is pressed, a standard weapon attack is performed. So there are summon cards and spell cards, and these are weak fire spells. I guess in most... They're akin to, like, ammunition in most survival horror games. And the Sutagumo, the arachnid-type creatures, the spider friends, as I like to call them, they don't really do much damage, but what I like to use them for is I place them down, creating a barrier between me and my enemy, and the enemy just runs forward and doesn't understand to go around, so you can just keep bombarding them with spells. And she fights with a fan. And I need to pull it out like this by pressing square, because I have it assigned to, because otherwise she'll get into battle and she'll take the time to pull out her fan and we're gonna get hit. So again, that's a medium level fire spell. Scroll, survival run. 1, unsigned scroll. Basic survival, do not run, be as quiet as possible. If you make any noise, a Gaki will detect your presence. Another rule, it's like if you run, you might knock over something, and if you knock over something, then a monster's gonna jump out. You can just deal with these guys. Well, so you know what I'm talking about. Let's go here. Tempest. Some areas have a large amount of negative energy. This includes revenge, murder, grudges. If too much has been accumulated, then a tempest of negativity may occur. If a tempest is encountered while running, you may experience vertigo. So that's why we don't run. And what is vertigo? Well, when I experience it, her animation is messed up. Like, it's supposed to do that, but half the time it doesn't. It's not dead. Now it is. And monsters in this game usually drop items. That one did not. But it's odd. The combat is a bit rewarding. So get more of these. There appears to be a corpse in the shadows. Okay. You can actually just tap the circle button like this, and you'll move fast without depleting any of your stamina, or if you run into a tempest while you're doing this, you won't experience vertigo, but that looks ridiculous, so I'm not going to do it. Let's look at items. You can view an inventory of all the items you've obtained. Various items can be used, including ones that restore health. So these vessels right here, these are things we use to save. This game does have limited save points, however, you get so many vessels that it's completely pointless. You can just save whatever you want, and you'll always have more. Writings. An inventory of various reading materials can be viewed here. This often contains valuable hints, references, and history in a variety of journals, diaries, and books. Doman's message. Doman's message. They say that disturbing events have been occurring at the manor of Lord Fujiwara. Go there and investigate. Some astrologers from the capital are heading there for the same reason. Be sure they do not arrive before you do. So, since the game doesn't tell you, it does a very poor job of establishing its setting. Sakuya is the apprentice exorcist of a man named Doman. And Doman is also the father of Utsuki, who's the other girl we play as in this game. And his rival is Abe no Seimei. The trail of blood ends here at the creek. Spell. These cards are used to cast magic spells. Each card can be used only once. I don't like to get close to those things because they emit this kind of poisonous gas. Sunlight shines on the irises. Something is written in blood. It looks like a woman's writing. A women. Plural. The flute makes beautiful sounds. La la la. Very good grasp on horror this game has. Very bad grasp on combat this game has. Scrap cloth. Writings on a scrap of cloth by a servant. The manor and Lord Fujiwara are doomed, but his daughter must be saved. I saw Lady Fujiwara at the temple. I wonder how she is now. Guardian dog. I guess one problem I have with this game that would be, I guess, a nitpick and not just like a genuine objective problem with the gameplay or anything is that I really would have liked to have a reference point for how this world is without the whole demon infestation thing. Like, is this a normal day of exorcism for Sakuya, or is it par for the course? Like, I'd really like a mood, a setting to be established before there are huge scars on the wall made with great force. I mean, for example, how much less effective would the horror in Silent Hill 3 be if we didn't start off with Heather at the mall, just a normal day at the mall, Seal of Venus has been placed on the door, and we just went right into the thing with Otherworld and the combat. It wouldn't be as effective, because we don't have a reference point.
Look! The seal, Mercury, has been placed here. You do remember how to remove such a seal? Just apply a blood-stained sacred cloth to the seal.
A scared
There's
cloth.
There's a sacred cloth for each type. A seal can't be removed unless both a seal and sacred cloth match. Well, I'm sure you'll figure it out. See? Even I can be nice to my little sisters sometimes.
Bloodstained cloth. Remove seal Mercury. Earth. Manor map. Yay. Advanced survival. If you are attacked, struggle. Struggle with all your might. That means just, like, move the analog sticks.
Go on ahead. See if you can find anything else. Go on ahead.
I forget that guy's name, because they never establish it until the end. But yeah, that's Sakuya's older brother. I'm not sure if that's biological or just her Nissan, because they never tell us. Yeah. It's either Doryo or Dokai. There's Doman, Dochin, Doryo, and Dokai, I think. Doman and all of his disciples have names that start with Do, which wouldn't really be that confusing, except they don't actually tell us the names directly. They're all found in, like, memos and stuff. Oh, and sometimes those guys will show up and, meditate. Physical and mental energy are renewed and vertigo is relieved through meditation. Meditation requires complete concentration and summon servants will be dismissed. So we hold this down to replenish our health and stamina. We can't do it during battle. That's what healing items are for. Something's lying amidst the furniture. I save those. They're very powerful spells. I don't know why that guy didn't just come straight for me, but whatever. But yeah, those ghost things I recommend just fighting with melee because they only take one hit, and your aim isn't auto, so it can be difficult to hit enemies. It impossible to see in with the drapes drawn. Translation is not very good. We have scared cloth and it impossible. Something is lying next to the partition. Pick it up. Oops.
Banish demons and all evil spirits.
So this room, we get the solution to this later on, but all it really tells you is the order of the Chinese zodiac, which you could look up already. Zodiac puzzle. The door can be opened by solving the puzzle involving correctly positioning the symbols. Do the middle, and the top second one, and then the top second one. I'm doing this first because you find the first part of a memo in here, and then you find the next one later on, and it's like, why don't we just look at the first part of the memo first? Inspection Report Volume 1. Report on the inspection of Fujiwara's manor. March 17th. Seimei has ordered me to investigate the situation at Lord Fujiwara's manor starting today. So this is a disciple of, Doman's rival. First, look for spikes. If you see one, you may leave the premises. March 18th. I found someone who knows about the spikes. He claims to be the elder priest of the shrine. I learned that in ancient times, the shrine was dedicated to a mulberry tree which has 3 spikes in its trunk. I will go and visit the tree tomorrow. March 19th. I visited the tree today. I saw the holes where the spikes have been, but no spikes were there. Spikes are used to confine evil. I wonder what horrible evil they were trying to confine, or even worse, what has been released. Like, nobody proofread this at all. It gets way more confusing later on when it starts to, like, that thing is just like, oh, it's the wrong grammar. But here, but later on it's like, wait, what? That contradicts what the character said earlier.
Hey, Sakuya. What's the matter? Don't know how to get over here?
Just jump.
Do you remember the path that leads down to the garden? You can crouch and crawl underneath the bridge there.
So that guy is named Dochin. Really cool imagery. Crouching. Crouching allows the player to enter an area that is otherwise impassable, just like real life. To execute a crouching move, press X when you are near the location you wish to enter. Press to move.
Remember to perform the cleansing ritual regularly. You can cleanse yourself by transferring and releasing toxins. Locate a holy ground near water and cleanse yourself thoroughly. A clean soul is said to evade even death itself.
So that was their way of telling you that this is a save point. We have limited saves because we don't have unlimited vessels, but we get like double the vessels we need. So like every time you see a save point, feel free to save. Then the little vessel floats along the river. It's very impressive reflections. I guess I can show you the legendary spider tactic. And the type A of this game, summon. These cards are used to summon forth servant spirits to do your bidding. Summoned creatures are mortal and their lifespan is displayed on the bottom right of its card. When the blood goes out from under it,
Banish demons and all
that means it's really dead. What was I saying before this? Whatever. Was I saying anything? Anyway, those twins we just saw, I'm actually not sure if they're boys or girls. Sources I looked up said they're boys, but playing the game I always thought they were girls. And, I think maybe somewhere in the game it actually says they're girls, but I guess it doesn't matter. The door is being pushed from the other side. It won't open. There's a half-eaten corpse in the wicker chest.
Sakuya.
Hey, did you see who shut the door?
Huh? No. There's a wicker chest here.
With a half-eaten body inside. But you decide to focus on the...
Go away, would you? Sakuya.
Well, screw you! That guy's name is either Dochin... I mean, it's either... Something appears to have been dragged through here. His name is either Dokai or Doryo. I think it's Dokai. The door seal was recently broken. That hand wasn't actually supposed to be a disembodied hand. But because it doesn't even have a model, I can't really tell you who it was supposed to be. It's just kind of a creepy scene. Fujiwara's letter. Letter sent to Fujiwara by a noble. Since you mentioned strange happenings at your manor, I have directed an seer of my acquaintance to visit you. He is a disciple of Abe no Seimei, the renowned noble seer. I'm sure he'll be able to help you. Recently, a renegade seer named Domen has been boasting about his powers. He has powerful disciples and claims to be Abe no Seimei's equal, but he has strayed from the seer's true path and cannot be compared. This must be the Lord's suite. Elegant belongings around the areas. Oh! Oh no! I need to replace it. Go on, play with your friends. Oh no! Ooh, Venus. It's disturbing how bloated the corpse is. So one thing I really like about this game is the color palette. I've always said that in order to have a good horror atmosphere, you need warm, stimulating colors. And I hate how most horror games have this like cool, calming blue palette, blue-gray palette. This one is a really good palette. So that's one thing it's got going for it that most other horror games do not.